Hello YouTube and welcome to Theater Talk. So today's video is a part 2 answer to a question I got on a previous video on my apartment tour video from Elleda. I answered the first part of her question in last week's video, so go check that out. So today I'm going to be answering the second part of the question, which is, can you talk about how it is living not in Manhattan and having to go to auditions in Manhattan, pre-pandemic of course. If you're new here, hello, my name is Tori Cyclic. I make new videos every Sunday for Cyclic Sunday with other videos throughout the week. If you like what you see, like this video down below and subscribe while you're down there as well. You can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok in the description at tss6295. Now, let's get into the video. As I was saying that intro, I got distracted because a little bird just popped up on my little like roof deck that's right behind this because I'm filming in the bedroom right now, and it was very, very cute. So yes, let's talk about getting to auditions in Manhattan. Of course, pre-pandemic because there is nothing happening right now, but it's always good to talk about this kind of thing because I've had some different experiences with this living in a couple different places. So I'm first going to start with living on the Midtown East, Upper East Side area of the city, which is where I lived for my first year of living in New York with my sister Alexis. So we lived on 63rd Street, which is right next to the Queensboro Bridge, which was not ideal for trying to get some sleep, but it was actually an extremely easy commute to get into Manhattan, Midtown area from where we lived in Midtown East. So I had access to a couple different train stations while living in this area, and those two train stations were at 59th Street and at 63rd Street. 59th Street, I had access to the 4, 5, 6, N, Q, R, and W trains, which were all really great. And at 63rd Street, I had access to the F train and the Q train. I usually went to the 59th Street station with the 4, 5, 6, N, Q, R, W just because I don't even know why. I was just very used to traveling that way, and it was just my habit when I got to the end of that street to turn left, and that was the direction I would go to get to that train station. But the NQRW does run pretty quickly. I always found that I was getting into Midtown Manhattan in about 15 to 20 minutes, which was incredible on a very good, like, non-traffic-y kind of day, but it usually ended up that way, which was really nice. So I was able to very easily get from my apartment down to auditions at Pearl, Ripley Greer, whichever studio we were at that point. So yeah, I would take those trains down to, I think, 34th Street and Herald Square is where the NQRW lets off. That is where it lets off. And then I would just walk across the few avenues from 6th Avenue to 8th Avenue to go to Pearl 500, Pearl 519, Ripley Greer 520. If I was going to any of the studios downtown, which I can't remember the name of currently, but it's the one on 26th Street that was always like really, really hot and sweaty. That one, I think I would also take the Q train and then just walk a little bit further from there. It was just a little bit of a different direction, but it was still on 6th Avenue, that studio, so it was very easy to get to. And then if I had to go to the one on 54th, which was Shetler Studios, and another one that I can't remember the name of that was also always very hot, and I was in that building once when the restaurant next door caught on fire. That one I would take the NQR straight up there, and it would be just another walk across a couple avenues and get there pretty easily. So getting to auditions from that area of town wasn't really that bad at all because I was pretty close, so I didn't really have to worry about it. The only thing was just that took a little bit longer was going across town because we lived on 2nd Avenue, and going from 2nd Avenue to 6th always took a little bit of time. If there was a lot of train traffic, just getting on that train that goes across town would always be a little bit of a struggle, but it just depended on the day. If there was a lot of train issues, if there wasn't, it was really, really fast. And then when me and Sean moved in together, we moved to Bushwick because I was really sick of living in Manhattan at that point, and I knew Sean would not be a fan of it because moving from Utah to New York is a very different transition, and he was like, I want to feel like I'm outside of the city, but like we're close enough that you can get to a train to get to work and to get to auditions and all that kind of thing. And we found our apartment in Bushwick that we really, really loved, and it was down the block from an M train and an L train, in between two train stations, which were the Myrtle-Wyckoff station and the Knickerbocker station. The Knickerbocker station only had the M train, but the Myrtle-Wyckoff station had the M train and the L train. Now, I know the L train gets a bad rap because it's not the best train line in the world. It only goes along 14th Street in Manhattan, but I've just got to say this. For getting to auditions, I would always be so shocked with how fast that train would run. Again, depending on like train traffic days, but if I was leaving at like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning to get to an audition, sometimes I would leave a little bit later and I would get there later and be late, but for the most part, getting on the L train and then transferring to the ACE at 14th Street and 8th Avenue, I was within the city, sometimes within 25 minutes, which is shocking. From Brooklyn, from like deep Bushwick, Brooklyn to Midtown Manhattan, getting there in about under half an hour on the L train, and then the A, C, or E train was pretty incredible. Most days I would take the L train from my station in Bushwick all the way up to the end of that line, which is 8th Avenue and 14th Street, and then transfer at that station to the A, C, or E train to get up to 34th, and then walk to Ripley, Pearl, wherever, because it's right down the block from the train station. There were some days where I would take the M train. I loved the M train so much because from Bushwick, from our stop to Essex Street, which is where I would get off to get to Dirt Candy for work, that train station is all above ground, so you get an amazing view of the skyline outside, and you have internet service, which is amazing. But yeah, I really loved the M train and taking that. It was also extremely fast to get into Manhattan. There were definitely times getting to Dirt Candy, granted that's the first Manhattan stop on that train, that it took me 15 minutes to get from Bushwick to Manhattan, which is insane, absolutely insane. But yeah, for the most part, that train was pretty okay to take to auditions. I just always ended up taking the L train because I knew it was faster. It was more reliable to be faster during the morning when I was trying to get to an audition. But the M train, I would take that straight from Myrtle Wyckoff or Knickerbocker Avenue all the way up to 34th Street, Herald Square, and then just walk across the avenues to get to Pearl, Ripley, wherever I was going for an audition. And now, since having moved here to this new apartment in Flatbush, I haven't left the apartment yet for an audition, so I don't know exactly what my route is going to be. We only have 2 train lines here, which are the 2 and the 5, so it's just going to be figuring out that. From the few times I've had to go into Manhattan so far with my mask on and everything and being all COVID safe and everything from this apartment, it is quite a long trek, which I don't know how that's going to be whenever auditions start coming back up again, but yeah, it's gonna be quite a long train ride, which will give me lots of time to read books and listen to music. Getting from here to Manhattan is a bit harder than it is at the other places, which again, me and Sean knew when we got this apartment. We were like, well, it depends on when auditions come back, and that's gonna be a little bit more of a commute, but it's fine, we'll figure it out. We like the apartment so much that I was just like, I don't care about the commute, I can deal with it. But yeah, it'll just be pretty much taking the 2 or the 5 straight up to a station and then walking or transferring. Again, I don't know which train I'm gonna transfer to. If I am transferring to a train, I can also just walk the few avenues across. Good to get some extra exercise and things as well too. But the thing that I do really like about where we live right now is that the 2 train goes straight up to Steps on Broadway. So whenever classes are back in person, I can just take the train straight from here all the way to Steps on Broadway and not have to worry about transferring at all. I really like that. That's been my experience with traveling from outside of Manhattan or outside of Midtown Manhattan to Midtown Manhattan for auditions. Again, don't know how any of this is going to be affected after COVID because of the pandemic and when auditions are gonna be in person again, if they ever going to be in person again. All right, that's all I have for you guys today. Let me know if you have any other questions about this topic here in the comments down below, and if there's anything else you'd like to see here on my channel in the comments down below as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, DFTBA. Oh. Thank you guys so much for watching, DFTBA, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.